I got that. I got that clip from
I have no.
GB.
Hey, I haven't done any prep, so you're gonna have to guide me in.
Okay, you didn't do your research.
No. I've been working, but I just got off. But I'm gonna ad lib it. So, but if you
Okay,
guide
well
me
let me
the way,
hit.
if
Okay,
you
well let me go ahead and hit live.
Hi, Dean. How you doing? Hi, guys. Sit down.
Oh, yeah. You see, those guys were comfortable in their own skin. Now, guys, I'm with a very select few group of Jehovah's Witnesses. I got my pink microphone, the one for being a misogynist. And now, Jesse, what pissed me off is that they put your name first, but and my name second. But Gigi for GB and Jesse were the worst Bible bullies. That's they found in their research that picture of you and me when we were kids, and we used to shove that New World Translation into people's faces. They got us, Jesse.
they got the drop on us.
They got the drop on us, man. We're
That's
Bible.
probably them.
That's probably them. So, guys, I don't know if you know, but Jesse and I have been called Bible bullies. And
Yeah,
this is what my message to all of you extra Jehovah's Witnesses is. You're going to be called a lot of bad things, but just embrace it. Jesus was called a lot of bad things. They nailed him on a cross, and everybody used to be afraid of the cross. Now everybody wears the cross. You see, he conquered it. So they're going to conquer you got to conquer your haters. You got to win them over to our side. Our side is the one that loves God, loves Jesus, it loves our brotherhood. You know, like my voting ballot says, you know, we're all children of God. We're brothers and sisters. We got to bring them over to our side. And how do we do it? Well, we bully them with the Bible. That's how we do it. No. Jesse, so what was your reaction when you found out that your name was first on the Bible bully list?
I got real excited. I just wish I got some money from rent because I live in her. I think I owe her money because we don't want to say their names because they got white privilege.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, we live rent free in their head.
Yeah.
We're like all those illegal aliens coming over the border right now, and over the border, you know, they're living for rent free. We live rent free in their head.
So let's talk about why are
they hate us more than Watchtower.
Wow, that's true, huh?
Yeah.
They hate us more than Watchtower. Why the Bible bully, Jesse? Where does that come from?
I don't know. I don't even own a Bible. I think they're mad because, see, they believe in the community. They believe in a community. And I always told you since we were little kids. Remember when I voted for Nixon?
Yeah.
And and I was like in the closet conservative.
Mm-hmm.
And as a Jehovah's Witness.
Correct.
And so I got hated for not loving the Bible. And then I'm out, and then I get mad. They get mad at me for loving the Bible. You can't win. Mm-hmm. You know, you're like Elvis Presley. You know, the white people don't like you and the black people don't like you. You're like in no man's land.
Correct.
But you know what? It's funny. The irony being called Bible bullies. I love it because it restores my faith in the scripture. Because these people, they hate the Bible. They use the Bible every day. I don't even have a Bible. Mm-hmm. You know, if you look behind them, they got 1 million Bibles. They tell you they got this Bible. They got the Smurf Bible. They got the Masoretic text. They got this Bible, the revised version, the reviled version. And they're on the computer and they're looking at Numbers 14 and Genesis 26. They're absorbed with the Bible. They can't see the beam coming out of their forehead. You know, they can't see. They're looking at the straw in our eyes because we love Jesus and we talk about Jesus. And they don't want nobody in the community to have free speech. That's why I told you since we were little kids, community is a communist construct. When you're a member of a community, XJW community, you better toe the line. It's like being in one of those, where you know those communists, they have homes in this neighborhood with gated fences. What are they called?
Gated communities?
No. The homeowners association?
Yeah, HOAs.
Yeah, like they got their own constitution, their own bylaws. You grow a rose garden outside without permission, boy, they'll come down on you. Like they got nothing better in the world to do, you know? And I guess they own the Bible, they own speech. But you know what? I always thought all the Jehovah's Witnesses, ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, we all have a story to tell. It's none of my business what I say, you know? And that's just the irony I find about the atheist bullies. They act like Stalin and Hitler and all the other atheist bullies. You start spreading any kind of Christian thought, they come down on you. They want to take over everything.
Well, hey, let's just go on that. Those of you who are atheists, ex-Jehovah's atheists, Jesse, you talk about this. Why should they thank God that we're Christian and that the great majority of people in America, because we're an American audience, the great majority of people are Christian. Why should you atheists be thanking Christians? Go ahead, Jesse.
Look, if you remember this last 20th century, we kicked the atheists in the ass, us Western civilization. I'm going to try not to cuss because that's an animal instinct. We kicked them in the butt pretty hard. Do you remember this thing called World War I, World War II? The Christian nations pretty much put a spanking on these atheist socialist nations. But these communists, they like to provoke fights. But us Christian people, we like to turn the other cheek. We like to turn occasionally you get a rogue Christian and he goes and he slaps back. But you know what? All these atheists that are always condemning all the Christians for their thoughts and for their words, they ought to thank God that the Christians aren't warmongering people. You know, look at what's happening in Canada. Look what's happening in Canada. You had a nation that was always, you have all these liberals and these communists. They're always calling us Nazis. You guys are national lovers. You guys are nationalists. You're Nazis, Nazis, Nazis. The other day in the Canadian Parliament, they honored a true live Nazi. He's a 90-year-old man. They honored a Nazi after decades and decades and decades of telling people who are Christian or who love their nation, Nazis, because they get so absorbed with it. Same thing with these people that call everybody Bible bullies. All they're doing is shoving the Bible down everybody's mouth.
Yeah.
They don't see that they're the Bible bullies. They're the ones who want everybody. They go, do their research, do your research. It better come out like them or they'll go ape shit on you.
Well, let's do the research. The founding fathers were Christian, the majority of them, and they gave you free speech. Now, if you atheists get your way and you go to Russia, you know, back in 1917, or other communist countries, they even killed people that were of the same party political ideas. I'll give you an example. Stalin would see that somebody was getting popular amongst his ranks, a staunch supporter of Stalin, a staunch supporter of the party, but because he was getting more YouTube views than he was, he viewed him as a threat and he would kill his own people.
Not only that,
yeah, go ahead.
In 1918 and 1917, with the rise of the Bolsheviks and the Russian Revolution, everybody knows that Lenin hated Christianity, hated religion. Karl Marx called it the opiate of the people. So what do they want to do? They want to remove it. But they wanted to give a semblance of a democracy. So what they did is they infiltrated with communists, their bishops, their pastors in the Russian Orthodox Church and other religions. So they infiltrated. And people go, well, that was 100 years ago. That's not true. Communists don't do that. Yeah, they do. Look at the Vatican today. Look at the Vatican today. That's not a Christian running it. That's not a Christian running it, you know? It's not the Christians aborting people. It's not the Christians that are killing people. It's not the Christians starting wars. We're involved because the sheer number. And that's another thing about the atheists. If they really want to go mano a mano, think about it. We surround them. Just look around your town if you live in the United States. There's a church in every corner.
In every corner. And that's, you should be happy that there's a church in every corner.
We got the drop on you guys.
Because the drug addicts and the homeless will be breaking into your home and stealing your food. But the reason they don't do that is because somebody's feeding them. Somebody's feeding these people. That's who's feeding them. The Christians are. Now, that's just my 2 cents. Jesse, I saw this clip, unless you want to keep talking about Bible bullies.
No. It's
a 1 minute clip. It's a 1 minute clip, and it has to do with what's happening in the border. It talks about, some people got mad at you because you called them useful idiots, and how these people, is it college, go research, go get an education. Check this out. 1 minute.
So you have, a master's in something, or you have a doctorate. You have at least one postgraduate degree. The super elites are the same, except they've gone to Harvard or Yale or any of the Ivy Leagues. That's the only difference between the elites and the super elites. So they were asked some questions, along with the worker, you. If you didn't go to Yale or Harvard, make 150,000 cars, government knows best. That's what they actually believe. They're not Marxists. Why? Because they're in science and industry, education, leaders of countries and companies. They're designing a whole new world, one where migration plays a really big role. Why? I'll get there here in a second.
Did he talk about, because he talked about 70 to 90% of these college researchers, the people that they're know-alls, they got a plaque.
Well, look,
like me, and these people believe that it's okay to say we're going to limit the amount of meat that you eat. We're going to limit the amount of energy. We're going to limit the car. We're going to put a kill switch in your car. And 90% of these Harvard graduates, the educated, I want to go to school to be educated. Look what they turn into. But 70, 80, 90% of the average Joe Blow, the blue collar worker, doesn't think that way. And 100% of the Amish don't think that way. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's just establish this about research. Let's get it out in the open, because there's a lot of anger out there. And I told you, we got a vicious fight. I go, Gilbert, don't go there, because research is a sacrament to these commies. Research is a sacrament. I go, don't go there. And you go, no, I'm going to go there. And you're the GG for GB. You have the final word. You do what you're going to do. I can't control you. But I told you, that's not a fight I want to go down, because we all do research. And I said, why don't you spend a little bit of time and explaining to people that we don't have faith in researchers, and these elite schools, and these elite researchers. They can be bought out. Who are they? Who are they getting paid by Friday? Like, for instance, I got a job. I get paid by my customers. These researchers, who's paying these researchers? It's a business, and Glenn Beck was explaining that. There's money involved. Now, the people who are calling us Bible bullies, they're doing good research. That's a different type of research, and I'll grant them that. They have good questions and everything. So we want to establish that. But what we were trying to say is that we do not have faith in research. Our faith is in Jesus Christ. That's all. You have faith in your research. The elites have faith in their research. Like Anthony Fauci, he has faith in the vaccine and the jabby yabby. I don't. There's a lot of money, super buck money. Leave me alone. I don't want to have faith. My faith is in Jesus Christ. I don't go around jabbing you about the jabby yabby. I don't go jabbing you about your research. That's some good research. If anything, I say, you know what? That's good research. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. I happen to believe in Jesus Christ. That's all. Don't tread on me.
So
Yeah,
you have,
I just
you
wanted
have, you have.
just wanted to look at that chart. He calls them useful idiots, because what happens is they go to college and they think that they're educated, because they tell them, you're educated. I'm educated. I got a certificate. So all of these people are educated, but yet they won't read on the Jabby Yabby. They won't read that little insert. Hey, I thought you were educated. And then when you show them videos, like what happened to that nurse that scrubbed from the internet? They don't want to get, why? Because they're useful idiots. They do the bidding of the people that pay them. Does it mean that all researchers are bad? No. But some researchers, you gotta, go ahead.
Let's establish that. I would venture to say that 99%, maybe I'm wrong, of the researchers are good. I will surrender that. I will surrender that. I'm willing to surrender 99.99%. But there's some bad research out there that has sold out. That's all we're saying. And so they're not God Almighty. Yeah.
Well, we come to find out, and I think I don't know if Barbara Anderson talked about it, but I know Alex Jones has. This is the problem with research and how it works in the useful idiots. Is you have everybody in a cubicle and in different levels, the first floor, fourth floor, and everyone is doing their own little research, but they don't see the big picture that is taking place, and they have no idea that they're actually participating in something good or something evil. And then when a whistleblower comes out, well, then that's where fan. But that's what happens a lot. Like you said, the majority of the researchers are thinking that they're doing very good, but they work in the third floor and the people in the fifth floor are working on something else. And when you combine these two things together, that's what we find out, that there's nefarious people at the very top. And that's what Glenn Beck is talking about. That these people at the very top are using corporations, schools, religion, they're using governments, and they're putting in these people that go to these Ivy Leagues and they're putting them in charge. Why? Because one, they give them a title, they feel important, and they like to obey orders. And because they're compartmentalized, they have no idea of what nefarious things some of these people are doing.
Yeah, and here's another thing about this research. I don't want to go there. I didn't want to go there because I told you that word research, it has turned to these elites, to these communists, to these useful idiots. It has become a sacrament. It has become like the Virgin Mary is to the Catholics. You attack that word research, you better, it's like putting a target on your chest. These people worship that word because to them it's their freedom, it's their essence of being. They're liberated from this darkness. They're woke. They know everything, but they won't take their papers and take it to somebody to debate. They shove it down everybody's eye hole. They say, you know what? We're the college educated. You will do this. You will do that. You will lock down. You will wear a mask. There's no freedom in that. There's no question. There's no debate. They, in essence, become their own Jehovah's Witnesses. It's like they're writing the Watchtower all over, and they're presenting their information to everybody as fact. When we were little kids in school, they told us there was theory and there's fact. Let's talk about some research, for example.
Yeah.
The James Webb Space Telescope.
The most awesome invention.
It's one of the most beautiful things we have done as a nation, America, and given it to the world. And we're seeing the stars and the galaxies and all of the universe. And one of the neat things, if you do a little research and you dig behind the scenes and you see what scientists are saying from NASA and from other places, they're questioning established theory. Well, that's an oxymoron. There's what people held as fact, which was really a theory. The Big Bang Theory. The Big Bang Theory. Some people forgot that it was a theory. It wasn't a fact. So now the James Webb Space Telescope is taking pictures. And wait a second. These galaxies shouldn't exist. We said it's 13 points. So now they're questioning the Big Bang Theory. Now, am I saying the Big Bang Theory is wrong? No, I'm not saying that. It's just now the scientists are coming up with new ideas. You have an open mind. Why? Because we have this new tool. This new tool that's shedding new light. For example, if you say Moses didn't exist, Jesus didn't exist, that's very popular. That's very chic today. The communists love you. The atheists and the Satanists love you. What we're saying is you're probably being used by these things to eliminate Jesus and Moses from Western civilization. Bang, bang, they're going to get you. They're going to destroy all of Western civilization, is all we're saying. We got here. This is the horse we got here to the party, man, to the dance. It's not good to leave your wingman. Moses and Jesus got us here as a civilization. So don't go Benedict Arnold, Judas Iscariot on them. And if you do, fine. But don't go Judas Iscariot on us. We're going to... Yeah, go ahead.
Come on, man. Keep
I got the wrong one.
farming regrets to
I got seen yet.
I'm coming in. And you shut up! What nose?
That was some of the best flying I've seen yet. Right up to the part where you got killed. You never leave your wingman.
Bingo. So what he's saying is some of the best thing that ever happened in the whole world is that a group of men established a Bill of Rights, a Declaration of Independence that spread across the Americas. And in that, they built this great nation. That was some of the best country building we've ever seen in our lives up until the moment you left your wingman. You left Jesus Christ. When you leave Jesus Christ, this is going to look like Afghanistan. This is going to be, we're not going to have guns. We're going to have rocks and sticks. And those are words of Albert Einstein. He says, I don't know how World War III is going to go down, but World War IV is going to be with rocks and sticks. How do we get there? Because we abandon, like you said, the person that brought us here.
But Gilbert, now check this out.
Go ahead.
The thing about the founding fathers, we're American. We're American. I know a lot of people say, hey, you're a beaner, you're a wetback, whatever. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
But I think like an American. I'm an American.
Go ahead.
The founding fathers brought to us the idea that all men are created equal. We're endowed by our creator with certain unalienable rights. Among them,
life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Okay. And in there, an atheist has the same right that I do. I have to check myself at the door. So they established this thing about check and balances. That's what us Christians do. And the founding fathers did that. They never mentioned God, or they never mentioned the divine in the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. They do it other ways. For example, they use the word providence, or they use the word blessings, which is uniquely owned by God. From God, we receive blessings. You can't receive a blessing from Satan. You can't receive blessings from other people. It is from God. From God. He bestows these blessings. So our founding fathers used that language, but they respected those that didn't. There is a danger. I'm extending an olive branch to the people that call us Bible bullies. And you know that we shouldn't, because they'll take that olive branch and beat you silly with it.
Yeah,
but
correct.
Yes, Christians should check their sanctimony at the door. We don't have a right to push Jesus down theirs, and they have the right to tell us, no, there's no Jesus. It should be done in a civil manner. It should be done in a civil manner, in a debate. But certain people won't enter into debate. We don't even know if they're real. We can't even see their face. They like to come on and throw jabs at you, but you don't even know who they are. And then when you call them out on that, you get disfellowship by the owners of the community. So look, everybody is created equal, but you don't go in a boxing ring and tie one arm behind your back. The neat thing about those guys that are always crying about Bible bullies, you and I can tie our brains behind our back and we could still beat them. Because all they are is anger, and they don't have the fruits of the Spirit. But we can argue and debate and challenge them to a debate about Jesus, the existence of Jesus Christ. And this is our evidence. Look at where we are today in the plane of civilization, in the timeline of civilization. Because of Christ, we've been there. Because of this man that they claim doesn't exist, we established the greatest government in the history of mankind here in the United States, which loves all men. That is uniquely at the heart of what Jesus was talking about. Love their neighbor. Love your enemy. That's what we're trying. That's what the experiment in self-government is in the United States. We're the only country where people are dying to come into. Everybody's dying. They go, well, what about Europe? You don't think those Europeans are getting in boats and coming over to Mexico and then coming up to the United States or Canada? Everybody wants to come to the United States. Why? Because we're the best country on earth, because we never left Jesus. We even put it on our money. In God we trust. We're unique, endowed by our Creator. I mean, yeah, we're the only country. We're the only country that offers a Thanksgiving to the Creator. We're special. And so what we're saying is, hey, you keep attacking Jesus and Moses, we're just going to speak out. Don't tread
Jesse,
on us. Don't tread on us.
And go ahead and read right there what my dad would tell us all the time as kids. We'd have to memorize this. That among men and among nations, the respect for individual rights is peace. Benito Juarez. That's what you're talking about. So this is what we have always done. We've always respected the other people's individual rights. We're not going on other people's channel and questioning them or saying they're wrong. But you know, like I said, don't tread on me. Yeah.
I have a feeling because of the anger in the XJW community there is towards Jehovah. You know what? On Facebook, for example, in some of the Jehovah's Witness comedy channels, you ought to see the vile things they say about Mary, the mother of Jesus. Yeah. The way that the cartoons that they put, the anger they have to Mary, Joseph, everything that we hold sacred, God. We don't believe God's name is Jehovah. We're with you, brother. We don't like what's happening in Australia. We're with you on 100% of the things. We happen to believe that God, the Father, has a son who he sent to earth, Jesus Christ, who gave his life for us as a role model. He is the way, the truth, and the life. And sometimes some of us Christians are so sanctimonious and such boneheads and retard, we have a freedom to go to another church because we know that there's a lot of Christians that are, I'm not going to cuss, but you put in your expletive. There's a lot of Christians that are, so you go down to the church across the street.
And suddenly there'll be a contender, and then you just go to another one, and that's fine. Yeah, no, we're not into competition mode. You know, that's why in my voting ballot over there, I always put that down. You know, we're brothers. You know, we don't need to be competing over who's right. Now, I wanted to talk about this thing. You know, there's a lot of bad news happening, and we are at the end. It's over, man. We're at the end. Now, I'm not saying that it's the biblical end. Anybody that's watching financial news, like the apostates, there's a group of men and women that are apostates. MSNBC, NBC, there are Fox. They're not allowed to be on these channels because they're saying things that they're like, you cannot say this here. I'll give you an example like Gerald Celente, Lynette Zhang, Peter Schiff. You know, Peter Schiff's dad is the only American citizen who wrote a book and was jailed for it. And he was talking about Fed. Now, but the point is this. Everybody is talking about there is going to be an end. It's called a reset. Call it whatever you want. We know something huge is happening. Now, some of the Christians will think that it's the end where Jesus is going to come. I'm not going to go there. I'll leave that to the viewer. But it's very interesting that when Jesus talks about the end, about the vineyard, the work, something there, we've seen this all the time. A forest fire destroys everything, but there's always new growth, right? So we know that something is going to happen. And history has shown us that before there's a revolution, a lot of people start to move and take sides, and they start getting off of their slumber. They're no longer asleep. Now, they may pick the wrong side. They may pick the right side. Who knows? And I think that's where we're at right now. And I wanted to go over this with you. A lot of our ex-Jehovah's Witness friends are going to say, you know what? This bashing of Moses, this bashing of Jesus, this bashing of the Bible, it's not going to get me anywhere. They're coming across the border. We're being invaded. Our dollar's being destroyed. They're moving nuclear weapons to near Russia, whether it happens or not. Everything that we never thought would happen is happening and worse. So we know there's going to be some kind of big event, a forest fire, but we know as Christians that life will always go forward. But in that process, a lot of people are waking up, Jesse, and you're seeing it on YouTube. A lot of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, like it used to be, remember, what started this whole mess was I did a video saying and I did Austin Powers, it's hip to hate God. It's hip to hate Jesus. It's hip to hate the Bible. And that's the pendulum swing. But what we're finding out now is that a lot of our ex-Jehovah's Witness brothers and sisters, and I predict, are going to say, well, Gilbert, I'm not going to talk about which religion or what I believe in, but I'm definitely leaving that camp. I'm leaving the hate Jesus, hate my country, hate the Bible camp. Nothing good can come out of it. You know what? Just real quick, Cat Williams said something so dang brilliant. When he was homeless, he interviewed all of the homeless people, doctors, lawyers, rich people. And he said, you know, Jesse, he told Shannon Sharpe, because you know what? I found out one thing. Not one person had a good experience with fentanyl, cocaine, marijuana. You can say marijuana. He's a marijuana smoker, but he started naming all the drugs. Not one person says, ever since I've been taking cocaine, my life has been changing for the better. Not one person. And that, Jesse, is happening. What Cat Williams is saying is happening in religion. A lot of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses are going to say, you know what, Gilbert? Nothing good comes out of going down that road of hating America, hating Arizona, because we're from Arizona, hating Jesus, hating the Bible. Doesn't mean you're going to have to come to me and I'm going to baptize you. It doesn't mean you're going to church. No, you just know that road is a destructive road. I spoke too much. Go ahead.
Gilbert, we have to love everybody, even our enemies. We have to love everybody. And that's the burden of freedom, the burden of being a Christian. We must let go of our hate. Look, the other day, this week, I had to drive up to Colorado to pick up my wife. She was with my baby, and they had a baby and everything. And I drove through the blizzard. It was a real blizzard, and I had my son with me and my daughter-in-law. We're driving, and the grandkids, and we're all driving a nice car and everything. But we drove through 3 states, big states, blizzard conditions, 16 hours. And we were sitting down and just chewing the fat in a restaurant in Flagstaff the other day. And me and my daughter-in-law, we were arguing, playing, and she was saying how poor of a driver I am. And I go, explain that to me. I just drove 32 hours. What do you mean? Well, not 30, 28. I still had 4 more to go to get down to Yuma. We're up in Flagstaff. And then she goes, well, when we were driving into the gas station, you drove in through the exit. And I go, you know what? We drove to 3 states, through 28 hours, through blizzard conditions, through life and death conditions, From a guy from Yuma driving through Colorado in a blizzard, that's a life and death situation, Anyways, and so I come into about 18 gas stations. So I come in and out, that's 36 times. And the one time I went through the exit, you focus on that one. What about the 35 times I did it right? So, and she started laughing. She goes, well, I didn't think of it that way. And we weren't fighting or anything. We were just talking and teasing and banter. But a lot of us as humans, we can never see. So somebody does one mistake out of 36 and they focus on that one. That's the way it's like in business. That's the way it's like in religion. That's the way it is in life. We can't cry about it. We know as humans, everybody's going to focus on the bad. For example, people look at the James Webb Space Telescope and they look at it and they try to question the mathematics. Christians like you and I go, wow, the creation. And we think the words of Winston Churchill, the destiny of man cannot be measured in material computations. When great forces are on the move, we learn we're spirits, not animals. But they don't see that way. They try to do material computations and they say, wow, our calculators and our computers, they can't register that. It goes against the laws of physics. I know. Well, Winston Churchill says the destiny of man cannot be measured by material computations. When great forces are on the move, we learn we're spirits, not animals. They can't let go. But there's nothing wrong with that. That's the human condition. And God made us that way to question everything. So when we see our brothers and sisters, and I'm extending an olive branch, and I know they're going to beat the shit out of me with that olive branch, but I'll still do it. When confronted with some witness testimony about the greatness of God, it is their duty to question it. And one of our ancestors, one of our fathers before us, I think it was St. John, said to test every spirit. So it's natural for us humans to test everything. God allows us to test everything. That is the beauty of the creation. So when we see a brother questioning God or an atheist, we should rejoice and see how beautiful that is.
Mhm.
Because in other countries, we as humans, we could live in a totalitarian country, and you question the authority, you're going to get shot.
Mhm.
Like, for instance, I tell everybody the greatness of the United States of America. Look at the border here in Newman. You see people coming over from all nations. You
Mhm.
try that in any other country, you're going to get shot. You try that in Russia, try that in China, try that in North Korea, try
They'll
that
kill
in
you.
Iran. But we're different. We're better. We're Americans. We're the best. We're
We don't kill people
exceptionally
for that.
better than everybody. We don't kill our enemies. We love our enemies. We
Mhm.
debate. And at the end of the day, we're better for it.
And who pays for the deportation airplane?
We do.
Yeah.
The taxpayers.
But Jesse, now we're going to go back to what I was saying, and I'm glad you said what you said, but you didn't answer. You didn't talk about this. Jesus, and because of everything that's happening right now, and the world is coming to an end. Now, I'm not saying the Bible end. I'm just saying we're coming to an end of an era.
Of a system.
Whatever you guys want to call it. Everyone, yeah. The new. It's really so now. Watchtower with the end of a system of things. Now we're coming to find out that they were not talking about Bible stuff.
They were in.
They were in on the agenda.
I think
so,
it was Brother Norm. I think it was Norm.
Yeah. Yeah. So now that we know that the end of the things are coming, the petrodollar, the US dollar, the central banks, just everything is coming to a halt. I mean, to a standoff. We don't know. People are now gravitating to Jesus more than ever because Jesus said that the 12th hour, it's when it's over, right? The harvest is over at the 12th hour. But at the 11th hour, 11:30 at night, right now, Jesse, people are ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. All these new ones are coming in, and they're talking about Jesus. Now, I've been talking about Jesus. Hold on, I've been talking about Jesus since 6 a.m. They're coming in at 11:30.
You're talking about the harvest, the laborers of the vineyard.
Yeah. So I've been, all my life, I've been talking about Jesus. Since 7th grade, I knew never leave your wingman. I knew never to be embarrassed of Jesus Christ. I always told you that. And now I'm not upset that all these ex-Jehovah's Witnesses are coming on YouTube and talking about Jesus. I'm happy but what I'm saying is that more and more ex-Jehovah's Witnesses are realizing that teaching of the Bible is bad, Moses didn't exist, religion is bad, all that stuff. They know, no. That type of thinking, negative thinking, doesn't get me anywhere. It doesn't build up. It doesn't lift up humanity. And what I'm saying is we should expect more and more ex-Jehovah's Witnesses to abandon that type of thinking and to join, to enter into the harvest.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I don't care. They can do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with you. Look, Mount St. Helen, I remember a news story back in the 1980s after Mount St. Helens erupted and it blew like an atomic bomb. And a scientist went up there the next year in the next spring, and he was amazed at how the forest was regenerating itself. There was saplings and there was seedlings growing. And he did a beautiful news story. It's all it was, a news story. I'm not saying it was atheist or Christian. No. He was just in amazement of nature. What you're witnessing today, I really believe, and this is just a theory, because I don't do research. I already did research when I was a little kid. I am research.
Yeah.
I am research.
Yeah.
You and I are research. You know how the communists say, we are the science. We are research. And we're using our memory. We're using what Thomas Paine called common sense. And one of the things that they did, I think, using that, is that we're witnessing societal decay. What we're witnessing is societal decay, like Mount St. Helen. So I think two things are going to happen. I predict two things. You're going to see more atheism in the Jehovah's Witness, rabid atheism, evangelical atheism, or just a preaching of atheism. And there's nothing wrong with it. As humans, we should question everything. And you got to remember, you have to love them because these are people that have been hurt.
Yes.
These people have been hurt. And vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. But these people deserve some sort of justice.
Yeah.
Okay, that said, we're not even going to go there. Our job, me and you, is to butt out when an atheist says something because he has a story to tell, a beautiful story to tell. Okay, But we're also going to see in the societal decay and the explosion and the elimination of Jesus and Moses, you're going to see new growth. You're going to see the sapling. You're going to see a rebirth. What Abraham Lincoln called a rebirth of freedom. You're going to start seeing Jehovah's Witnesses that were once real given to vice,
Vice,
maybe embracing. I'm not saying they're going to embrace a church, and I'm not going to say that they're quoting Bible
Scripture.
or anything, but they're not going to go down the road of Stalin or Hitler, who say, or Knorr or Rutherford, who said religion is opiate of the people, or religion is a racket and a snare. No, I'm not going to join that. I'm not going to join that. Are there some religious people who are a snare? Yes. But what about the woman who raises her family in the church, who does everything out of love? She's not a racket and a snare, and she's a Christian. What about Mary, the mother of Jesus? Was she a racket and a snare? Whatever you think about her, she had baby. She took care of the baby. That's love. And the history of Western civilization is replete with the blood of the martyrs who gave their lives for their children, for us. We're living on the foundation of the blood of the martyrs that came before us, and we're not an ingrate. We're not ingrate. We love them. But you're going to start seeing in this time of the harvest, you're going to start seeing more ex-Jehovah's Witnesses embrace Jesus Christ. I'm not saying embracing religion. I'm with those apostates that call us Bible thumpers. I don't believe, I believe Jesus is the way. I don't believe religion is the way. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to embrace, let me see if I have it here. I don't. But they're going to embrace right there. Accept your birthright. God is your father, you're his son. And see, the way I say it is this. I have a lot of, you and I, we talk about the Bible all the time. But when I'm here on YouTube, I go kindergarten level. Kindergarten. It's first grade. God is your father, you're his son. And once you grasp that concept, that people are trying to take away what's rightfully yours. You were born into this world and you have a birthright. You have a right to everything in your mom and dad's house. You're the baby, right? You have a birthright of your country. So once you accept the fact that God is your father and you're his son, you just ponder over that, guess what? It's like Scripps says, I would always quote Scripps in my old videos, give people light and they will find their way. If I teach a Jehovah's Witness, God is your father, you're his son, don't let nobody get in between you and your father. That's like a light bulb. That's like a flashlight. He's going to be fine without me, Jesse. He don't need me. And then he's going to come back and says, Gilbert, how did you know I was going to become a Christian? Because Jesus is the light. See, it's simple. If you give people the truth and you give people the light, they're going to be just fine. So that's why when it comes to like religion and Jesus and Bible bullying, that what I do, I keep it very simple. I keep it kindergarten and first grade level because I trust you to go do the rest of your searching. Now, there was a woman, ex-Jehovah's Witness, big time, born again. She, talks about the Holy Spirit and she loves God. She's listening right now. And she's a nurse. She's a medical professional. And she gets mad about the research thing. She naturally, she's a nurse. So she likes research. And then I told her, I go, you're always quoting the Bible. Why don't you go to Bible Gateway and find out how many times the Bible uses the word research? 0. I go, but put in the word search. Jesus uses the word search. The whole Bible is filled with the word search. I go, I just like to search. Now, some people like to research, but I like to search. And right or wrong, I'm not winning an argument. It's just, I like to keep it very simple. And I like to use words. And what has helped me, I told her this, what helped me is this. The reason I say that is because remember in the pictures I put, Jesus didn't say that. What I come to find out is when I was a Jehovah's Witness, watched how I would always say paradise earth. They would use all these phrases that Jesus never said, like door-to-door ministry. Jesus never said door-to-door ministry. All kinds of phrases, but all of those phrases sound good. So that's why I don't like cognitive dissonance. That's why I don't like critical thinking. That's why I don't like research, because I have PSTD. I have all of the same things you guys have. I've been burnt by Watchtower, and I don't like hearing all of these fancy words because it scares the bejesus out of me. Now, I don't, you guys, I'm not telling you to think like me, but see, I've always said if everyone is thinking like, then somebody isn't thinking. So that's how I think. But I never want you to think that if you research that you're doing something wrong. I'm trying to help you understand that. I get triggered just like you get triggered. I hope that's
Listen, we're gonna allow your viewers to see what we do in private. We're gonna fight this out. I told you don't use those words. I told you don't use those words because these people get easily triggered. So you don't use the word research, don't use the word cognitive dissonance. That's what me and you fight about personal, because these people worship these words, the conventional wisdom. And so they use these words, they hear it, monkey see, monkey do. They don't even know who Patton is.
I know. And they don't know about the slapping that he did.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but to them, it's a salvation. It's everything in the world. Remember, I told you, like to the Catholic, Mary, the sacraments, to the Catholic, the church. That's what critical thinking is to these. It's their life. They've abandoned Jesus. They don't have a way. So the critical thinking is their way. Where are they going? I don't know. I don't know where they're going. It's none of my business. But to them, critical thinking means everything. It's like that John Cougar Mellencamp song. That's when a smoke was a smoke and dancing was everything. Do you remember when you were young, when you were dancing with your wife? You guys, before you got married, dancing.
My
was
second, my second or third wife.
The third. No, your first one. Beautiful wife.
Oh yeah.
You guys were dancing. It was beautiful. It meant everything. Think about it. Think about it. Your first love. When you danced, it was everything. To some people, critical thinking and research is everything. I think it's our job just to butt out, let people. That's in my opinion. You like to do that. You like to go there. But I wanted your viewers to see that me and you fight about this stuff. You know, I don't think you should use those words because it triggers these ex-Jehovah's Witnesses.
That's
they
true.
hold a lot of And
I'm gonna quote you. I'm gonna use your quote. You're wrong.
Okay, yeah. And I'm glad I'm wrong, really, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Because
I understand.
I'm using my beta male argument. And you're going alpha male. You're saying it like it is. But because I have an extreme amount of love, because I am the
You've always been nicer to me. Yeah.
I exude love. And I out of the love of my heart, I said, hey, let's drop that out. But that's the beta male in me. Because some guys have mommy issues. But you don't. You're the ultimate alpha male. So you say it like it is.
Yeah, that's why I'm GG for GB. But you're right, because you're always telling me, man, you're always telling me. It always boils down to that.
Because then we end up with a fight with somebody who has mommy issues or daddy issues. Yeah. So I said, why go there? The world, she's a flat like your head. Why go there? First of all, you and I cannot prove if the earth is round or flat. Why the hell go there?
Well, the earth is flat like my girlfriend's chest. Yeah. Or a rear end or whatever. Yeah. And I can say that because I got this. So, okay. So that's it. So Jesse, how does it feel to be a Bible bully?
I like it.
We didn't even open up any Bible texts or anything like that.
I don't have a Bible. When I left the Jehovah's Witness in 2013, I got rid of it. I had a stack of elder letters and I had an elder a binder full of talks, public. I got rid of everything. And now I just use common sense. I'm a true American. I use common sense.
Because Joe called in on the 6 Qs, suffer really bad. Crazy guy is like talking about suicide, damn. And I told him, I go, Joe, it's like that song says, the answer is in the wind. A lot of times we dedicate ourselves to too much research, too much YouTube, and everybody will tell you this. That sometimes you just need to go away. And it's true. The answer is always in the wind. Sometimes we spend so much energy trying to find the answer somewhere when the answer is right in front of us. It's in a song, in a movie, or whatever. And So with having said that, if you do want to research what's happening in your immediate surroundings, because the answer is in the wind. And I think those are powerful words that been in the Bible, because that song is the answer is in the wind. We're looking for answers, and it's right in front of us.
Gilbert, and here's another thing. I'm gonna boil it down, end game it.
Mhm.
You know what? When I was a little kid, I
Mhm.
always could smell a communist a mile away. I don't know why, because we grew up in the Cold War and we had teachers who taught us about that. And I always thought Brother Noor was a communist, a New World Order. But I was so young that I would see pictures of it. Remember, since you were little kids, I always told you, hey, you could spot a communist a mile away. First of all, they don't shower, they wear ponytails and all this crap. Remember, I would tell you about that? They like their
Mhm.
hemp, and they like to put grass right here and ponder about the universe, and they don't like to work. Well, anyways, those were all superficial stuff that I said about commies. But another thing I used to see, the way Brother Noor worked. If you watch any of the old Cold War movies, Brother Noor used to dress like one of them United Nations secret spy dudes. He didn't dress like a Christian. Like he didn't. You know who's another one who dresses like that? Mark Sanderson.
Mhm.
You know, they got their big old briefcase with a big old long.
Mhm.
They look like something out of a spy movie. That's definitely not how a Christian dresses. You know,
Mhm.
they dress uniquely like United Nations spies. So he comes up with
Mhm.
these words like new system of things. Scared the hell out of me. These are not
Mhm.
Christian. This is not a Christian lingo that you use. You know,
Mhm. Hey,
why did I
see,
go on that? Mhm.
she's saying go to Christ Greenfield and Gilbert, and I'll ask them to give you a Bible for free. Now, is that on the 202 or on the 60? I used to go to Greenfield over there on Gilbert all the time, right next on the 202. It's by the airport. But Jesse lives in Yuma, so I live in West Phoenix. So I'll probably have to go get it for him. But thank you, Barry. Thank you, Barry. If you want
Yeah,
their minister to give you a Bible. Mhm.
yeah. But Gilbert,
What's that?
basically, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. The thing
Yeah,
is,
go ahead.
as Christian men,
Mhm.
we have to hold ourselves accountable first. I
Yes.
believe that. I believe that. I'm a sinner. And in this argument about research and about that, it's none of my damn business what people do. I really believe that. It's really not. And research is good. As Christians,
Mhm.
we should do research. Somebody in your comment section said something. As Jehovah's Witnesses, we were
Yeah.
only allowed to research what Watchtower told us.
Mhm.
So I think it's instinct in all of us ex Jehovah's Witnesses to research. We've all did that.
Mhm. Mhm.
We all did that, and it helps us escape Watchtower.
Mhm.
I think the only thing is we don't have faith in the researchers. Researchers are not my Christ. I'm not going to follow the researchers. Look what people are dropping dead because of the jabby yabby. If they would have done a little research,
Mhm.
yeah, and that goes in everything. And who's paying for the research? For
Mhm.
example, there's some people who call it research, but they do all their research on Google.
Mhm.
No, get your
Yeah.
shovel, go to the Middle East, and go look for them stuff.
Yeah.
That's research. And then get it, write it on paper, and put it before Christian scholars, you know,
Mhm.
and let there be a
Call. Yeah.
forth.
I think even Rick Farron would welcome, the people that he has on Sunday and says, these are the questions that I want answered. Yeah. Or, this is my theory, but yeah. I think, yeah, because that's called peer review. And as Jehovah's Witnesses, nothing that came out of Watchtower was ever peer reviewed, ever. So much so that the Christian churches just took them as losers. Like, you guys are a bunch of losers.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you got to give it to a lot of the Christian churches. They do peer review back and forth.
And here's the thing: Jehovah's Witnesses
Mhm.
ought to thank God that the Christians are so loving, because the
Mhm.
Jehovah's Witnesses deserve an ass kicking. They're calling everybody Satan. I mean, think
Mhm.
about that.
Yeah.
In another country, other religions, dude,
Mhm.
that's a recipe for suicide. You don't do that.
Right now.
Mhm.
So I don't have much. Is that all you have?
I think that's it. We can expect you know, in the Bible, wasn't there some people who cried every time you criticize them? And they were, "Ugh." Yeah, and we're not criticizing anybody. We say just don't tread on us. Sometimes some of us Christians, we slap back. I remember when I was a
Mhm.
kid, Gilbert, I remember during the
Mhm.
end of the Vietnam War, we were little, I was probably about 10, coming up
Mhm.
maybe 8. So I would listen to the older brothers that were going to be elders. And they would talk about when they were going in the draft board, if they got slapped around, never say that you're a pacifist, because if you hit back, that would prove that you're not a pacifist. I remember little things like that when we were kids. And I'm saying a lot of us Christians are not pacifists. We tend to kick back. You know, I'm
Mhm.
slamming a beer here. I'm not saying that I'm perfect either.
Correct.
Yeah. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a pastor, but I believe in Jesus
Mhm.
Christ.
Mhm. So I hope those that are coming out, ex-Jehovah's Witnesses that are doing their preaching and their ministry, I hope, this was beneficial. And yeah,
Gilbert,
amongst nation and amongst men, respect for individual rights, peace. Yeah.
and, and let the word go out. Let the word go out that we foresaw two things. We saw the societal decay will continue, but out of that
Mhm.
societal decay, there will be a growth in the apostate community of worshipers of Jesus Christ. And if there's not, I invite you to speak out about Jesus Christ. Look at the price of everything going up. There's going to be famine. There's going to be diseases. There's going to be pestilence. Some people say they can't wait for Jesus Christ. I'm not like that. I the Bible says that the love of the majority would have gone away. I'm the kind of person who thinks that we still got 49.9%.
Mhm.
We never, ever, ever quit. We don't leave our
Mhm.
wingman. Until
Yeah.
Jesus comes, then it's over. Until that day, we have to show love. We have to keep preaching of Christ crucified, that he gave his life for us. We don't surrender. We don't surrender to Christ. Listen, imagine what our brothers and our fathers that came before us did. They gave their lives so that we could have freedom of religion. And
Mhm.
we're the generation that's just going to roll over and bend over and let the Chinese take us over?
Mhm.
No. Grow a spine. Stand up,
Mhm.
Christians. Get out of church and hit the
Mhm.
streets.
Correct. Now we only have about 3 minutes before the 1 hour mark, and Jane says, "I refuse to belong to any church." Well, ditto, because me too. And there's a saying that they would say, "Card carrying member of the Communist Party." So if you're a communist or the Democrat, you'd have a card. So yeah, I refuse to belong to anything like the blood card. I don't want to be a member. Doesn't mean I wouldn't go to a church. Doesn't mean I wouldn't participate. Whatever. I just don't. And a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses are of this fold. They've been burnt so much. They don't have a problem with people going to church or going for what funeral, wedding, or whatever.
I go
Christmas.
to every church that my friends invite me to, I go,
Yeah.
but I'm not
You
a
go.
member of no church. I go and I'm so happy. When they pray, I pray.
Mhm.
What they tell me, I look it up. What I disagree, I mention it. And
Yeah.
then if I disagree with them, I don't act sanctimonious. I respect their opinion. I say my opinion and I leave it at that. I don't try to win an argument.
Yeah. So yeah, and what was the point?
No, what you're saying, not card carrying members
Yeah, we're not card carrying
of any
members.
church, because so many
Oh,
people have been burned.
no. She refuses to belong to any church. John the Baptist, he didn't belong to a church. He quit. Moses didn't belong to a church. He was for 40 years without a church. But you know what Moses did? He made his own church. And so that's the whole thing too, Jane. If you don't want to belong to any church, that's fine. And if you want to start your own church, start your own church. That's the beautiful thing about freedom. And we trust everybody to make good decisions. Go ahead.
Gilbert, in a way,
Mhm.
in open,
Mhm.
let's make a confession.
Mhm.
And just for the sake of transparency,
Yeah.
we kind of lie to your viewers when we say that we're not members of any church, because you
Yeah.
and I, as brothers, blood brothers, a long time ago, years ago, we said we opened our own church, the GG for GB church. So in a way, we do have a church. We're card carrying members of the GG for GB, but our church is unique in that we have Jesus, we have you and me, but we don't want you in our church. We don't want you to subscribe to our church. We're true in transparency. We're not trying to be cult leaders. We don't
Mhm.
want you. We're leaders of nobody.
Mhm.
Everything I say is just opinion.
Mhm. That's the
Everything.
church that we started, the original church, the NOCACA, the National Organization of Congregations Against Cult Abuse.
And
NOCACA.
have you heard of those muertos de hambre? Every video you see a muerto de hambre. It's a special word uniquely to the Spanish language, to the beautiful Queen Isabel's beautiful Spanish, muerto de hambre. All they do is, can you like and subscribe? Like and subscribe. Hey man, don't you have any self-respect? Is that all you got in life? You look like a circuit overseer, Jehovah's Witness, district overseer. It's all you got, man.
Yeah.
Dude, make a video, say your opinion, and let it go.
And the reason you say that too, because I've said it many times. If the Holy Spirit, see, we don't believe in the Google algorithm. We believe, and I've seen it with my own eyes, that the Holy Spirit will get the right person to watch the right video. So some sister, right, is going to see, she's not going to watch our video because she's not going to resonate. She's going to resonate over there. That's how God works. That's how the Holy Spirit works. So we don't need you to like me. We don't need you to subscribe. We don't need all that stuff because we're not in it for this. We're not monetizing whatever. And if you do, that's fine. It's fine. It's just, we're just believers that Google algorithm is not powerful. The Holy Spirit is powerful. That's all. It's a real simple concept.
Yeah, because other people have tried to join the church. Huh? You have friends. I have friends.
Your son tried to
Even
join the
my
church.
family and my kids. Even my family and kids. We're having Thanksgiving dinner here, and my son goes, "Dad, could I be a member of the church?" I go, "No, that's mine in Gilbert's church. Go get your own church." I kicked my own son out of it, and I love my son more than me. You know.
Yeah.
But he can't be a member of this church because we're not leaders of nobody.
Correct.
We did that. We did that for 15 years each as elders in the Jehovah's Witnesses. We're not going to do that no more.
Yeah. And we trust you. If we give you truth, if we give you light, you're going to find your way. You're going to find your way. So check it out.
Remember, everybody loves somebody, and I love you all very, very much. Good night, and God bless you.
Man, I love Dean Martin. I know he's a sinner. Yeah, I know he was a sinner. And I know Frank Sinatra was a sinner too, but you know,
we're all sinners.
Yeah.
The guys who say they're not sinners, those are the guys you got to watch out.
Yeah. And you know, one quick thing about Frank Sinatra, Richard Burton, against Frank Sinatra's wishes in a big old party in DC, said, "Hey, Frank's going to get mad at me for saying this," but he started telling all the good things that Frank has done behind the scenes. But there's a quote, I'll show it to you on the next video. Frank Sinatra was a firm believer in the Sermon on the Mount. He believed that that's all you need, just like Gandhi. And that's where he got his idea of don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Every time he did, Jesse, he raised billions of dollars, literally over $1 billion in fundraising and donations. But he swore everybody to secrecy. You know, and little bits got out here, little bits got out there. But that's the beautiful power of the Sermon on the Mount. That instead of tooting his horn, instead of tooting his horn, you know, he kept it quiet. But it was because, and so that's what I'm saying. You know, if he's a sinner, but I think to myself, if I was in his shoes, I think to myself, would I have done the same thing? So that's why, you know, I love being an ex-Jehovah's Witness now, because I really believe in that Bible text in the Sermon on the Mount. Stop judging, because you live in those shoes. Go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. So beautiful words, beautiful sentiment. So can I end it this way?
Yeah.
For our Bible bully friends.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I should have downloaded that. Our Bible bully friends, you will listen to Ave Maria.
Frank Sinatra. Jesus is real.
Jesus is real. I'll have to download it for the next video.
Yeah. What a way to end the show, huh?
Yeah. Ave
Wow.
Maria.
Hey, Gilbert, one question, because we got some
Yeah.
Mexican American blood brothers and stuff.
Yeah.
And we're American. So the classic Mexican American question. Who sang Ave Maria better? Frank Sinatra or Pedro Infante?
Pedro Infante.
Wow.
Okay. Hey, so we got to go, and I got somebody knocking on the door. So,
Okay.
all right. Talk to you later. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next one.